Dabi strikes first, Monoma and Shinzo steal the spotlight, and the heroes make their first big move in this climactic war. Let's talk about all of this and more as we dive right into the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia Chapter 344 is finally out, and with it we not only get to see the final war finally kick off and some fan-beloved characters, but we also get our first good look at Shinzo's new hero outfit. And let me just say, he must be a 13-year-old Dabi because he's looking fire. But before I begin talking about this chapter, I'm first going to go into a quick summary of what happened last time. And as usual, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide on into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. In the last chapter, Big Daddy Evil, all for one, ordered some wine, revealed he's a human lie detector, and organized a coup to ambush One for All's current main hoe, Izuku Midoriya, all without ever leaving his chair. The story then cuts to said coup, where Crybaby Poopy Pants Twinkle Boy Aoyama met up with Deku-chan alone out in the middle of a random street, where he explained how he used his get-out-of-jail-free card to escape prison, money, and he also went into great detail about All for One's true evil plan, which can be summarized as make world shit, force world to be dependent on him, make world great again. And after this explanation, the Twinkling Twink said, but don't just take my word for it, ask the big man himself, as All for One floated in with his new Darth Vader looking ass helmet. However, as it turns out, this whole situation wasn't a double cross, but a triple cross, as Aoyama attacked All for One, peed himself a little, and jumped over to Midoriya, revealing this wasn't a setup to lure Midoriya out, but a setup to lure out All for One. All for One, initially surprised about how Aoyama could lie straight to his face without him knowing, yeah, how does it feel when it happens to you, you old fuck, shrugs off this betrayal by teleporting in all of the villains. But just as he thinks he has the upper hand, Midoriya gets hit with the on your left as Nato Monoma appears with Kurogiri's quirk and portals full of heroes. And this is where chapter 344 picks up. This chapter opens up with a flashback to All Might in Class 1A's dormitory explaining the hero's plan of action in the upcoming fight. All Might explains to the class that searching for a coward like All for One is useless, so they will have to lure him out. And this is where Aizawa's plan comes in. Detective Tsukauchi clarifies that assuming the villains still have Ragdoll's search quirk, All for One would be able to confirm not only Deku's position from a good distance, but also if any other heroes are near him. So that's why they're going with Aizawa's plan of using Aoyama to take Midoriya and thusly All for One to an isolated place. In hearing this plan, all of Class 1A rejoice at the fact that Aoyama will be able to work with them once more. But canonically, the smartest student in the class, Momoya Yorozu, questions how are they possibly going to be able to fool All for One like this, knowing he has a lie detecting quirk. But Tsukauchi replies that they have already found an answer to this. Yuga's parents' conversations with All for One were always through some sort of transmission device, and were never face to face. So All for One's lie detection must have a way to identify lies by the tone of someone's voice. As a result of this, Aizawa came up with a plan that would make their voices reach All for One's ears without a hint of falsity in them. And as soon as Tsukauchi says this, we see walking into the room in his new hero outfit is none other than Shinzo. And god damn, does he look cool! He's got a brainwashing quirk. Why the hell does he look so awesome? Class 1A understandably start to go a bit wild in seeing their surrogate Hero Core sibling, which is kind of adorable, but Froppy also mentions how she is confused about this plan, because back at the joint training, Shinzo mentioned how he couldn't use his quirk to make others talk on their own. Shinzo then goes on to explain that in order to be worthy of entering the hero course, he has strengthened his quirk, and he reaffirms everyone that he will be able to control Aoyama's parents fully. To which I just have to say, called it. I knew by the look in Mama Aoyama's eyes that there were some brainwashing shenanigans going on. But anyway, after learning about Shinzo's improved quirk, all of Class 1A get all excited again and begin to question Shinzo about his hero name and which class he will enter. However, before we can get an answer, Principal Nezu conveniently interrupts the conversation, stating that while Shinzo doesn't have a provisional license, Mera from the Public Safety Commission, you know, this guy, has given him full permission to use his quirk in this situation. Tokoyami then chimes in asking how they will be able to mobilize the heroes if All For One still has search, as if he does, it would be far too easy for him to spot a trap. To which All Might replies that the solution is simple. They just don't have to be in the same place. And as All Might says this, the story cuts to Central Hospital, where we see Aizawa, Vlad King, and Monoma looking in at Kurogiri. Aizawa tells Vlad that All Might was the one who requested Monoma, and Vlad asks Monoma if he is ready to play such an important role. In response to these questions, Monoma, in typical Monoma fashion, teases Aizawa by saying that it seems like a joke to ask him to master such a quirk as Kurogiri's in just a few days. Aizawa then apologizes and says that Kurogiri no longer responds to his voice, implying, just like how Shigaraki had an identity crisis, he must now not know who he really is. Aizawa continues, saying now that he has lost one of his eyes, he can barely use erasure properly, so he probably won't be able to do much in the next war. Although Monoma comforts Aizawa by saying that according to everyone who is in Jakku, all the heroes would have been wiped out if Aizawa hadn't been there. Monoma, starting to lower his arrogant facade, then goes on to say that he is used to being told that he could never become a real hero with his quirk, and that he just has a supporting character's power. However, Vlad then puts his arm on a surprisingly hesitant and low self-esteemed Monoma's shoulder and states that in this upcoming fight, there are no supporting characters. Monoma will shine as one of the protagonists. And following all of this, the story cuts back to the present, where we see an army of heroes coming out of portals as Monoma laughs and boasts about his achievement. We also see All Might in a command room with several screens saying that they were expecting All For One to bring an army, because if he steals One For All now, he won't have to run and hide anymore. So there is no reason for him not to go all out. It's also kind of interesting to mention that in the bird's eye view of the battlefield, we see that the villains greatly outnumber the heroes, which I thought was an interesting point. But anyway, with the fight in tow, Dabi advances towards Endeavor, saying that he didn't expect to find him here, and he asks if Endeavor would like to watch his fellow heroes die first, as he shoots out a huge wave of fire. But before the fire can hit anyone, a giant wall of ice appears from the portals, blocking the attack, followed by Shoto Todoroki, saying that he will not let his idiot brother act as he pleases. Dabi, noticing Shoto is on the battlefield as well, just begins to laugh. Although, before anyone else can make a move, All Might in his surveillance room shouts, "System Troy on!" And we see huge metal constructs coming out of the ground, trapping all of the villains inside. While currently being restrained, All For One wonders why the hero did this, knowing that the villains can destroy these things in seconds. But he soon realizes what their real intent is. And with this, chapter 344 comes to an end, as Tsukauchi tells All Might that this time they'll be able to win with the plan he's created, as the metal cages begin to move towards Monoma's newly opened portals, as All For One confirms that they are trying to separate the villains. Overall, this was a pretty great chapter. Shinzo officially returning, looking so goddamn cool, and using his improved quirk to foil All For One's plans was awesome. Monoma having a little moment of self-doubt and finally getting to have his grand and spotlight-stealing moment was nice. Mirko's big-ass new hand is terrifying, and quite frankly, after having months of little to no action, it's fantastic to jump right back into the fight. I'm super excited to see just how this war will turn out, especially with both sides not only giving it their absolute all, but also with it probably being the final ever fight in the entire series. I can't wait to see what plots and twists await us. Will people die? Who will be saved? How will it end? But most importantly, will a single ship in the fandom become canon? Because if no one gets together by the end, I'ma be pissed. But let me know what you think of this chapter. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment what you think is going to happen next. For more My Hero content, subscribe to to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.